want to intervene as doubts or clarifications, you can always unmute your audio and speak. Otherwise, kindly keep your audio muted all the time.
After time interval, after time interval.
Good evening, participants. Welcome to the certificate course in counseling skills. We will begin the program sharp at 6 p.m. So I welcome everyone for the certificate course program, and kindly keep your audio muted all the time. Kindly keep your audio muted all the time. We give the audio and video control to you. Kindly make use of it judiciously. Mindset. Kindly sign in with your ID number that we have given to you, like 25 CPCS underscore, whatever use your number and your name followed by your name. I see some of you without your ID number. Kindly, the ID number is posted in the counseling skills WhatsApp group. The final list is posted there. Sudandra Abhirami and Ansia Evangeline. Yeah, type your ID number. ID number first, followed by your name.
Okay, sir.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Bhuvaneshwari. Welcome.
நான் நாளைக்கு அதெல்லாம் ரெடி பண்ணி உட்காந்துக்கிறேன்.
Dear participants, good evening. Welcome to the certificate course in counseling skills. The audio video control is with you all the time. Can you keep your audio muted all the time? Kindly keep your audio muted all the time.
Okay,
On, sir. Good evening, sir. Oh, yes, yeah, we have already taken note of that. Yeah. Yes, good evening, sir. Yeah. So we have 2 more minutes to go. We begin the program sharp at 6 p.m. Good evening, dear participants. Welcome to the certificate course in counseling skills. Today is the first day of the course. So we have the online classes from Monday through Friday from 6 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. And all Saturdays we have offline classes from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Those who cannot attend the offline classes, the proceedings will be recorded and sent to you. We will also live telecast the offline classes on Saturdays. At 6 o'clock, we begin the program with a prayer song. Over to Ms. Christiba, Assistant Professor, Department of Counseling Psychology.
Welcome everyone. Let's begin our certificate course program on a positive and uplifting note. Please join us in a prayer song.
There shall be showers of blessing. This is the promise of love. There shall be showers of blessing on all of us. There shall be showers of blessing that all of us need. Mercy drops round us are falling, but for the showers we plead
Is it all
throughout this certificate course program. Okay, I'm very happy to welcome Reverend Dr. Emmanuel Arukiam, SJ, a renowned psychologist and counselor. Father has graduated from Marquette University, USA, and he has got a wealth of knowledge in the field of counseling and psychology. Father was the former HOD of the Department of Counseling Psychology, and he is the director of Jesuit Madurai Province Counseling Center. He is also the director of Arupe Library of St. Joseph's College. I have worked with him for several years, and he is known for his knowledge and experience. And I am sure throughout this week, he will open us to the world of counseling and psychology. We welcome you, Father, on behalf of the Department of Counseling Psychology. And I wish all the participants a great and enjoyable time throughout the program. And we are very grateful to you for registering with us for this certificate program. 188 participants have registered with us, and I welcome all of you, and I wish every best to everybody. And towards the end of the program, I'm sure all of you will be equipped with the knowledge, skills, and the techniques that are required for a beginning counselor. Over to Father Emmanuel. Welcome you, Father, for your presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Balaya, for introducing me. I'm Emmanuel. So I'll be talking about foundations of counseling this whole week. You may have already read the syllabus, Unit 1. There are a few topics. But before we begin the actual points in Unit 1, I will talk about in general what counseling is, so that those who have not heard about counseling, those who are new to this subject, will understand a little bit. All of you might have heard about counseling in some form or other, sometime or other. Counseling is, very important these days. So the very effort to offer this course as a certificate is praiseworthy. So I'll be talking about what counseling is. Okay. What is the definition of counseling? According to the Future of Counseling group, counseling is defined as follows. Counseling is a professional relationship that empowers diverse individuals, families, and groups to accomplish mental health, wellness, education, and career goals. This definition contains a number of implicit and explicit points that are important. So, counseling deals with wellness, personal growth, career, education, and empowerment concerns. So, counselors deal with a plethora of issues, personal and interpersonal. These include concerns related to finding meaning, adjustment, and fulfillment in mental and physical health, and the achievement of goals in such settings as work and school. Counselors are concerned with social justice and advocate for the oppressed and powerless as part of the process. So, this is a kind of a definition of counseling. Counseling is professional, not a casual conversation. Suppose somebody meets me in a restaurant or a coffee shop, somebody asks me a question, I answer, it will not be counseling. I may give advice in a common setup, on the road, in the bus, in the train, or in a restaurant. If somebody wants to know some answers for their problems, I can give from my experience, from my knowledge. I can tell them what to do, how to go about, how to reduce their symptoms, and so on. So that will not be real professional counseling. So counseling is done in a very professional setup. Who is a counselor as a person and a professional? I will talk about it a little later. Okay. So it includes many things. We have normally some personal issues, interpersonal issues. It could be, there are people who lack meaning in life, people who are attempting suicide, or they are not able to adjust with their demands in work or home. They are not enjoying mental health or physical health. Then they are affected by various other issues. Then they have some goals, but they are not able to achieve, or they are not able to come up with some goals in their life. So they are also concerned with how to improve the people's well-being in society for the oppressed and the powerless, and so on and so forth. So these are the goals for counseling and the counselors. What is counseling? You might have heard what counseling is already. It is based on psychology, psychological understanding of things. So we read about psychology, we know the theories and the techniques. So we use psychology, psychological factors in helping people. It may be individuals or couples, families, or groups. Clients come from all kinds of places. They live and work in a wide variety of settings. Their problems may require short-term or long-term interventions that focus on just one person or with multiple individuals who are related or not related to each other. For example, in a family, there may be, 3 or 4 or more people. Sometimes we also conduct group counseling in which there are 12, 13 people or even more. Counseling is diverse. We are not meeting only one kind of people in counseling. We meet all kinds of people, people from various cultural backgrounds, maybe from minority or majority cultures like USA, Europe, Australia, New Zealand. These are countries where individualistic cultures exist. But countries like India or Sri Lanka, China, Japan, we have collectivistic cultures. These two cultures do not match. We may have certain commonalities, but there are unique aspects in individual culture as well as in collectivistic culture. So counselors meet people from different cultures. In India, we have many states. Many states speak different languages. One language is spoken in TamilNadu, Malayalam is spoken in Kerala, Andhra has Telugu, and Karnataka has Kannada. And even within one state, many people may speak different languages. So their ethnic groups, their behaviors, their values, their practices, all may be different. So we cannot say that if I belong to one culture, I will meet only people belonging to that culture. So I need to have a broad understanding of life, openness to accept people, and also to help them according to their own expectations based in their culture. Counseling is a dynamic process. It is not rigid, it is not fixed, it is not given for everyone. Counselors not only focus on their clients' goals, but also help clients accomplish them. This dynamic process comes through using a variety of theories and methods. After a few days, we will look at a few theories and we will be asking ourselves why there are many theories. Why not one theory? Is it not enough to have only one theory? Why so many theories? Because they may be confusing and difficult to know every theory. But there is a purpose and there is a historical background and also other reasons why we have so many different theories. So we use different theories for different people or different problems depending on the counselor's expertise and the personality model. Counseling involves making choices as well as changes. We help the clients not only to choose something, but also to help them change. Counseling is lively and engaging. In most cases, counseling is a rehearsal for action, either internally with thoughts and feelings or externally with behavior. What are the counseling goals? These are all general introductions, before I actually start Unit 1 concepts. So, what are the goals in counseling? Achievement of positive mental health. People who are not enjoying positive mental health may develop problems, may have symptoms. So, whenever a doctor meets a patient, an ordinary medical doctor, he will ask for a few things. He will say, what is happening? Normally, the patients will say, I am not able to sleep, I am not able to eat properly, uh, I feel sad, or I am aching, I am very tired, so many symptoms. So the doctor will ask for the symptoms, mostly physical symptoms of that particular person. It could be temperature, which is making the body hot, and the person is not able to eat well. That may be one difficulty. Or some people will say, I feel like eating the whole day. Another person may say, I feel like sleeping most of the time during the day. I do not want to wake up in the morning. These are all symptoms. Or I am not able to walk. Then the doctor may also ask the patient, how much are you affected by the symptoms? Sir, I am, going crazy, or, I feel upset. I feel angry with myself. I am angry with God. All these are distress level. How much are you affected by the symptoms and the problem? Then the doctor will also ask the patient, are you able to do your work well? Are you going to work? Or are you able to study? Somebody may say, sir, whenever I have exams coming up, I have severe headache. So the doctor may ask the patient for symptoms, distress level, and functionality. There are three things. If something goes wrong among the three, suppose the person has many symptoms, or the distress level is very high, or functionality is very poor, not able to work, not able to do all the works one person is having, then that person may not enjoy positive mental health. When one secures positive mental health, one learns to adjust and respond more positively to people and situations. Prevention of emotional tensions, anxiety, indecision, and other problems. These could be distress level or the symptoms themselves. So, counseling will help achieve mental health, which will also help the person prevent emotional tension in future, anxiety, indecision, or other problems. Then, as part of the positive mental health, promotion and development of feelings of being liked. I am likable, I am lovable, and sharing with and receiving and giving interaction rewards from other human beings is the legitimate goal of counseling. So, counseling also will help the person to interact well. That is also adding to the positive mental health. Counseling goals too. Resolution of problems. Many people have problems, but they don't know how to solve them. They don't know how to resolve some issue. So, counseling can help people not only to have positive mental health. In behavioral terms, there are also three goals. Altering maladaptive behavior. Some people have maladaptive behavior. They don't know how to manage their behavior. Like, for example, when I wake up in the morning, I want to kick something and it creates problems. Or when I want to push somebody on the way because I'm so angry. Or in my depression, I want to kill myself. I have, these tendencies. So, one is altering maladaptive behavior into adaptive behavior, which is a mature behavior acceptable to all people. Two, learning decision making process. We are all struggling to make decisions. Like students will have, which subject to choose. I don't know whether to study medicine or engineering or some science subjects or art subjects. Which one should I choose? Some people struggle to choose even their partners. I don't know. I like a few people, but I don't know whom to choose. There are many people who don't know to choose even small little things. They have conflicts, dilemmas, and so they are not able to decide. Then some people always get into problems. Yeah, or they have got into problems and they don't know how to get out of them. So in future, one must also learn to prevent problems and avoid problem situation. So goal of counseling is to relieve the suffering and disability of the clients. So these are another set of goals, resolution of problems. Counseling goals 3. improving personal effectiveness. This is related to positive mental health and securing desirable behavioral changes. We must be, in any work, effective and efficient. Suppose I am a carpenter, I must be able to finish the work effectively. That means I should do what I am asked to do. I must be efficient. I must reduce my energy, or the expenses, and do it very quickly. So an effective person is able to commit himself to projects, investing time and energy and willing to take appropriate risks. For example, a student will be very effective if he or she can complete the assignment on time. Instead of taking too long and going beyond the limit, if one person can write well and submit the assignment on time, that is effective and efficient. Has the competence to reorganize, define, and solve problems. Things don't go as we expect. There are things which are not in our control. Like, for example, I want to play basketball at 4 o'clock, but suddenly there is a rain, heavy rain. I am not able to go and play. So, what do I do? If I cannot play at 4 o'clock, if I know that it is going to rain, I must have the competence to reorganize, define, and solve problems. There are suddenly problems occurring in our lives. Okay, our problems go awry. And how do we define and solve problems very quickly? We must be competent. Then reasonably consistent outside and within his or her typical role situation. If I have a role as a teacher, I must be consistent not only in the classroom as a teacher, but also outside. When students meet me on the road, do I behave as I teach, or am I totally different? The husband or the wife, are they consistent at home and outside at the same time? Also, we must be able to think in creative ways. A creative person is a very mature person. A creative person will be able to do things very well and achieve greatness in life and work. So, we need to learn to be creative in almost everything. We must be able to control impulses. Otherwise, we generally don't know how to manage our emotions and instincts and drives. So, we must be able to control impulses and produce appropriate responses to frustration, hostility, and ambiguity. If you visit prisons, there are some prisoners who have done something wrong only one time in their life. They might say, I got so angry with that person, I pushed him down and he fell down and died. That is why I am in prison. There are people who cannot control their instincts. People who are addicted to alcohol, drugs. I am impulsive. I don't know how to manage my impulses. So I have a trigger. Let us say on Saturday I want to drink. I'm not able to control my impulse and drive. So appropriate responses to frustration. If people are frustrated, they are hostile, if they have ambiguity, what do? They must be able to manage their behavior. Otherwise, they'll be in trouble. Okay. So we have, personal effectiveness as one of the goals. Counseling goals 4. Counseling to help change. I already mentioned all of us need to change. Only in the business world they will be talking about change is the only constant thing in the world. It is true. Change is important. Everywhere change happens. But sometimes we are not willing to change. We are not ready for change. Or we may not be able to change. Whenever we talk about change, we require 3 things. 1, I must be ready, I must be willing, and I must be able to change. There are some people who can change. but they are not ready yet. Okay. They will say, not now. I met one person, who had alcohol problem, very serious. So I made him understand the consequences of his drinking. Wife had gone away from home with his child. So this person understood the difficulty after the heavy drinking episode. So when he realized that he must stop drinking, he said, "Sir, I will stop it after the new year." I met him in October. He wanted to wait till the new year, that is January the 1st. That means he was not ready. Some people are not willing. Some people will try. Like, for example, when they go to, Ayyappa temple or Velangani, Palani, they may stop drinking before that. Once they put the garland on, they may say, I will not drink for 40 days. They may succeed. Or there are some people who try for a week, but after some time they give up. So, one person should require also willingness to continue to remain sober. If they are addicted to alcohol or drugs, only then they will succeed. So, real change will take place only if people are willing to change, they are able to change, and they must get ready for change. So, counseling should maximize individual freedom to choose and act within the conditions imposed by the environment. If the students are changing for the sake of the teacher, the change may not last long. Let us say they are all silent and they've opened the book when the teacher arrives. They will not continue to study when the teacher goes away. So, out of their own individual freedom, they must choose, I want to study not only for the exam, not because of the teacher, but I want to study for myself, for my joy, for my growth. I want to study. Then they will do well. And act within the conditions imposed by the environment. They cannot say the environment must be perfect. Often the environment is not perfect at all. Another person would say, Sir, my neighbors are making noise, so I cannot study. When will the neighbors stop making noise? You can ask them. You can tell them a few times. But by nature of the personality or their need for work or something, you hear some noise. If you decide only if everything is perfect, only if there is perfect silence, you will be able to study. You will not start studying at all. So we must be able to manage even though environment may be negative or not very conducive for change. It should also increase the effectiveness of the individual responses evolved by the environment. Like, for example, even though there is noise, even though I feel sleepy, I must learn to be effective or I must increase my effectiveness. Okay, normally I tend to sleep at this time, but I will not sleep. I will do something so that I will keep awake both physically and mentally so that I can do my work. It should also focus on the mechanism of change, and the counseling should be helped in the process of becoming. It is not only changing a particular habit or behavior or feeling or emotion or thoughts. As a person, we should also change continuously so that we become persons. Carl Rogers, one of the famous psychologists, humanistic psychologist, he said, on becoming a person, that was his book, we have not become fully human. So we must become persons. That was his idea. So all of us need to grow. That is also changing. Changing from what I am to what I should become. That is also connected with personal development. So we need to develop as a person or as a professional and we must continuously change, and counseling will help us to change. Okay. Counseling goals 5, decision making as a goal of counseling. Counseling should enable the counselee to make decisions, because I told you all the time we make decisions. Even now, you will be making a choice, making a decision. Okay. Should I listen to the whole lecture or only half of it? Should I be doing some other work while listening? Should I turn off the video or the audio? What do I do? You decide. You want to sit down peacefully, or you want to listen to something else while listening to the lecture. We make decisions all the time. Whenever we are awake, whenever we want to do something, we decide. But are we making the decisions well? Are we making the right decision? Okay? Sometimes we are at a loss. We don't know what to decide. Not only in the choice of partners or subjects, but what to do today. I heard from somebody, he told me that it is a holiday for him. What are you going to do today? I have not yet decided. When will you decide? Yeah, I will decide. I asked him around 12 o'clock noon, have you decided what to do? No, I am still lying down, lazy, I am eating something, I have not decided to do anything. So, some people uh, fail to decide even for their own life. Sometimes, we also have to decide for other people. Like the mother or the wife has to cook for the family members. Husband has to get up and go and work. So we need to decide all the time. So decision making as a goal of counseling. Sometimes in counseling, the counselor will help you to decide properly, or will enable you to have the freedom and to decide. To stimulate the individuals to evaluate, make, accept, and act upon one's choice. So sometimes we don't evaluate properly. Sometimes intellectually we know what is right, but we may not be able to decide. We may postpone. Sir, I will decide later. Or we decide but don't follow through. So we make a choice and we also decide to start. Counselor may provide information, but it has to be clarified, sorted out, and analyzed. So, counselor may give some information. Okay. So, uh, from his knowledge, from his experience, from the resources he has, he will give you some information about various things that you need to know. But it will be clarified, sorted out, and analyzed by the client also. Okay. Also, scientifically, sometimes we do the analysis. Counselors should have the choice of making free, informed, and responsible decisions, being fully conscious of their own strengths, weaknesses, assets, and liabilities. Because counselor can only help the client to decide. He or she cannot decide for the client. I may be finding a wonderful time of study at night because there is no disturbance, no phone calls after 10 o'clock. So I may be completely free mentally. Environment may be silent, so I will be able to study. I can go on till 12 o'clock or 1 a.m. But I cannot make the client to study like I do. I will be, spoiling a client's life if I force him to choose as I do. I cannot tell him, you should study at night. I cannot make a choice for other people. I cannot decide for other people as well. Counseling goal 6, modification of behavior. Sometimes we have behaviorally oriented modification of behavior, that is removal of undesirable action or reduction of an irritating symptom such that the individual attains satisfaction and effectiveness. Sir, I am always late to reach the office or the classroom. Okay, I can help the person modify that behavior of coming always late. I can help that person. Okay, what is the consequence? What makes you wake up late? What makes you start late? What makes you reach the classroom or the office late? What do you do after reaching late? Sir, I get angry with myself. I blame other people. I blame the traffic. I blame the environment. Okay, are you feeling good by going late? No, sir, but I'm not able to change my behavior. This happens again and again. So, behaviorally, I can help that person change their behavior. I can also help the person from the point of view of growth orientedness, development of potentialities within the individual. All of us have a lot of potential. We say our mind has a lot of potential we have never tapped. We may not even know what talents we have unless and until we get an opportunity to understand or to experiment and see what talents I have. I have a very good story I might have shared with my students. I knew one person in the USA when I was studying there. I met one person, she was 60 years old, and she was diagnosed with one cancer, which was a very serious terminal illness, very debilitating cancer. She was a teacher of, you know, uh, piano. She was a piano teacher. She could not teach piano afterwards because of the cancer. So she started worrying, getting upset, angry with herself and God for a long time, for many days. But after some time, she realized, I'm not going to gain anything by being upset or angry. I must do something with what I can. And so she started painting whatever she saw through the window. The place she was in, that I was in, was known for heavy snow very often during the winter. The winter environment would be good for some people don't like it. And she said, I'm not going out in the snow, but I see beautiful scenery. I'm going to paint. So I asked her, what made you decide, to paint? Are you a painter? She told me, no, I have never painted in my life. As a little child, I have drawn something, but afterwards, I never got a chance. I gave importance to music and I developed, musical talent. But now I have plenty of time. I cannot teach piano and my hands are all paining. So I took a pencil and I drew something and I got some color pencils and the color paints. So I am drawing. The pictures were beautiful. They were so beautiful. After seeing them, I told her, your drawing is really good. Your painting is fantastic. Why don't you have an exhibition of all your paintings? Okay. So she agreed hesitantly. Afterwards, during the Thanksgiving occasion, she exhibited all her paintings, so many, and every painting was sold for more than $750 each painting. These are ordinary paintings on a A4 size paper. Not very good paper, but they were all, the painting was wonderful. So she learnt about her own talent after she was diagnosed with cancer, after she reached 60, 62. So we realize our own potential sometimes very late. And do we get enough chances to develop all these potentialities? May not be. So some other modification, existentially oriented, self-enhancement, self-fulfillment. Normally we get stuck with the four important or the basic needs, human needs, like physiological needs, food, water, air, sex, and safety, security needs. I want protection, I want safety, security, and we are concerned about social needs, belonging needs. I want to love, I want to be loved, okay, sense of belonging. And we do many things for esteem. We want to be respected in society. We also want to develop self esteem. Many people don't go beyond that. So, if we realize our potential, we will go beyond. Even though our life is limited, we will do many things for self enhancement, self fulfillment. Many people who have been busy with only these four basic needs, once they retire, they don't know what to do. They can spend their time for self enhancement and self fulfillment. Unfortunately, many require counseling to understand their own potential and inner hidden talents. Who is, a counselor as a person? Can anybody become a counselor? Technically, they require training and so on. Sometimes, even temperamentally, not all can be counselors. Okay. People may study counseling, but I would say not all are meant to be good counselors. They may have knowledge and skills, but they must have certain characteristics to be a good counselor. They must be emotionally mature. What is it to be emotionally mature? They should know their own emotions, what they are going through, experiencing. They must also be able to manage their emotions, not necessarily control, but manage their emotions. And they must also try to understand others' emotions around them. They must also be able to understand their emotions. They must also have motivation to do things, to move on in life, even though they have had negative experiences. So, all these will be uh, connected with emotional maturity or emotional quotient. A good counselor as a person must also be intelligent. Intelligence is generally connected with the left side of the brain. We have two parts of the brain. Left brain is connected with cognitive intelligence, mathematics, logic, philosophy, reasoning, and so on. Right side of the brain is connected with relationship, music, artistic talents, and also insight and intuition. So both sides of the brain must be used if we want to be good counselors. I must be intelligent, I must be knowledgeable, I must also have insight. Because many clients do not even know what their problems are, when they developed, why they developed, how they maintain the problem. They may not know. If we don't have insight or intuition, we may not be able to understand those people who have problems or who are suffering. A counselor must also be integrated person. We have many parts. We must integrate all that is, so that we will be holistic in our understanding, so that we will combine all our potential, all the talents, so that we become integrated in our life. A counselor also should be genuine. It is also connected with the cultural aspects. In certain cultures, telling lies, cheating, getting bribes may be common, like our own culture. Being genuine in our culture is rather difficult because in our culture we sometimes tell lies because we don't want to hurt people. But genuineness is a requirement for an effective counselor. A good counselor is also good in communication. We must have good language. Language skills are important for doing good counseling. We must be able to communicate well our thoughts, our feelings, what we expect, what we want to tell the clients. We must be able to communicate whatever may be the language. We must be able to communicate very well. Then we must also have empathy. What is empathy? In what way it is different from sympathy? Sympathy, I feel sorry. I have pity for somebody. I see a person who is physically challenged, not related to me. I see the person, I am not in any way connected. I may have sympathy for his poor condition. I may give some money. I may be concerned to send him to a particular place for help. That may be only sympathy. Like, sometimes our Prime Minister goes on a helicopter to see the flood level. So many houses are gone. They go up on a helicopter and then they look down. That may be sympathy. But empathy is I feel as if I were the other person. In the group today, there are both men and women. I personally, I used to tell my students in class, I am a man. I have never been a woman in my lifetime. So, I cannot say that I understand a woman because being a man, I have no experience of being a woman. I cannot understand a woman very easily unless I have real empathy. Only empathy will make me understand what a woman is going through. I have never been my brother or sister or my father. Even though we belong to the same gender, I have not been my father, I have not been my brother. So, only through empathy, I can understand my brother or father. So, empathy is very important for a counselor. Then, I must have the culture of respecting other people. Other people are different from me. There are no two people who are alike. So, only through respect, I will respect that person. That person, even though that person may have a problem, even though that person may not be up to my standard, I will be able to understand that person only if I have proper respect, deep respect for that particular person. Even though that person is different, I will be able to understand that person only through respect and empathy. I must, we don't know much about ourselves. That is my theory. We know very little about ourselves because there is something called, you know, unconscious. We don't know everything that happens in the unconscious. What happened when I was growing up as a little child? I don't know. Certain things would have been stored in the unconscious. So, what is happening in the unconscious or subconscious, I may not know. I don't know why I get certain dreams again and again. It is connected with the subconscious, and when I go into the subconscious mode, probably I get something. I am aware of something, but not aware of everything. So, self awareness is poor for every human being. So, I must grow as a counselor, I must grow in self awareness, forever, all the time. Our life may make us have a negative outlook on life or people. That will not help me to be a good counselor. I must have a positive outlook. This is also connected with optimism. If I am not optimistic about my client, my counseling will do harm to that particular person. Only with hope, only with positive outlook, only with the belief or the philosophy that people can get well, I will be a good counselor. Then, with all my genuineness, I must also have good concern for others' well being. If I don't have concern, then I will treat them as guinea pigs, I will harm them, or I will ill treat them, or I will ignore their symptoms, their suffering, their distress, and their uh, lack of functionality. So, as a good counselor, as a person, I must be ethical as a person, not only in the profession, But as a person, I must grow in my ethical thinking and ethical beliefs. I must become more and more ethical person. These are all some of the characteristics of a counselor as a person. Counselor as a professional. In our class, I used to insist that every subject should help the students to improve themselves as persons and also improve themselves as professionals. They must be good persons. They must be good counselors. Who is a professional counselor? Anybody cannot be a counselor. Anybody cannot be a psychologist. They must be possessing knowledge, skills, and attitude. So whenever we study something, we learn some knowledge, information, then we acquire skills. We also develop an attitude which will go along with their training and knowledge. So they must be well trained in psychological counseling. I already told you that they must have good communication skills. That alone is not enough. As a professional, I must have good, strong interpersonal skills. I must be able to relate well with people. I must be able to welcome, talk to them, guide them, not only in the counseling session, but also outside. So, as a person who has interpersonal skills, I'll be a good professional as a counselor. I must listen to and support others to navigate personal challenges. By the way, this is very difficult. A good counselor listens to people. Even when we listen, let us say 90%, the client may not tell us everything. We may not hear all the story. We will know very little about the client or his or her problems or the symptoms. So we must listen with our whole body, not only with our ears, but I must listen with my eyes. I must listen with my body. Only then I will get to know some detailed information about the client and the condition or the environment that person is in. So I must listen to, support people so that with my support, they are strengthened to navigate their challenges and move on. So, as a counselor, I should be able to give guidance. So, I must know which is better. Suppose you tell me there are a few choices. In my opinion, I will say, based on the pros and cons of every choice, I will suggest to you, I will guide you to choose one option and go ahead with that particular option. So I will provide guidance. By the way, originally, counseling profession started as a guidance profession. People guided others. So that is how we started historically. Then the counselor facilitates positive change through a safe and confidential space. So the counselor creates positive change in the client. How does he or she do? By providing a safe and confidential space. So by creating, developing a therapeutic relationship, a trusting relationship with my client, I would encourage that person, you are safe to discuss with me. I would encourage you to take a bold decision, because whatever you say, I will keep to myself, except for a few exceptions. Okay. So I provide that space. I encourage that person. I would help that person or enable that person to make a positive change. How does counselors do as professionals? They utilize therapy, the concepts, and also they use therapeutic techniques. It is not simply mumbo jumbo. It is not magic. They use some techniques which are proven techniques, which are scientifically tested, which many others have tried and then have confirmed these techniques are useful, then the professional counselor will use such therapeutic techniques to address emotional, mental, and behavioral issues. Okay. The counselor cannot use any technique. He cannot experiment on people as guinea pigs. So he must use proven techniques which will be helpful for people to manage their emotional, mental, or behavioral issues. As a professional, a counselor follows ethics. We will talk about ethical issues sometime later, not today, maybe day after tomorrow, sometime. We'll find out what are the ethical principles and what are the problems, ethical problems we have normally in counseling. Okay. And as a professional, I must learn continuously. I cannot stop learning. For example, I completed my master's, many years ago. I completed my PhD many years ago. I cannot say I know everything. I have the skills, I have the knowledge, I have the attitude to be a good counselor. No, that is not enough. I must learn continuously. I will tell all of you today that I learn from my clients also. Clients teach me. Clients guide me sometimes when I go wrong. So I must have the humility to learn even from my clients. I learn from other counselors, other psychologists, medical doctors tell me certain things. I have learned from neuropsychologists certain things about the brain, how the nerves function. I have learned from my friends. I learned from projects researchers done all over the world. So I must keep myself up to date with the latest research. Only then I'll be a good counselor today. I cannot say I am in India. I don't need to know what people are doing in the USA or Europe or Australia, New Zealand. I must learn. I must have the desire to learn, passion to learn from other people so that I will be a good counselor. I told you some time back, there are no two people who are alike. Everyone is unique. That is why I would say nobody has my culture. Even though I have my siblings in my family, every sibling of mine has a different culture. I have another culture as an individual. In our family, we may have certain commonalities, common features of a particular culture. If I speak Tamil and if I am staying in Tamil Nadu, the Tamil culture may be one. But I am meeting people who are different. I am meeting people who speak different languages. Every day I meet people, who are from even another country. In my class, there is one from, Africa, from, one country in Africa. So I do not share the same culture with that particular person. There are people from the north. I am in the south. So do I have the capacity or the desire to learn about other cultures? A good counselor must be open to understand another culture, the culture of the client that I am meeting. Otherwise, I will not be able to understand that particular person. I may have sympathy, I may not have empathy. So, cultural competency should also develop empathy and also my desire to learn continuously about others' cultures. How do they deal with problems? What are problematic in those cultures? What are liberating aspects in that particular culture? what is oppressing in that culture. When we talk about multicultural counseling, I will explain, or other professors will explain, uh, all the theories, the main theories were developed for the Caucasians in Europe or in the USA. But later on, people in the USA realized that not all belong to the same Caucasian culture, that is the white European culture. We are all from different cultures. If I have been brought up in one culture, if I have my grounding in one culture, I will not have the comfort to be in another culture easily. So, when I went to the USA, I had to adapt myself to that culture by understanding their culture. What is happening? What is important? I will give you one example, what happened to me. In India, remaining silent is also a sign of humility. I would say, let other people answer the questions from the teacher. I will be the last one to answer. One teacher who taught me, during the first semester, told me, Emmanuel, you seem to know the answer, but you are not coming up with the answer. Why don't you answer? If you know, why don't you open your mouth? Only then I realized, people do not respect there in that culture. If they remain silent, they think they don't know. So that teacher taught me that if I knew the answer, I should open up and then speak and then give the answer. In India, if somebody is very silent, we will say, oh, that person is very humble. That person knows, but he's not very arrogant. And if you ask him, he will speak. So there are many aspects which are different from one culture to another. If I have to be culturally competent, first of all, I must have the desire to learn about that culture. I must understand and then also learn different skills to help other people. Okay. So, counselor as a person must know what counseling is. I will give you some simple explanations about what counseling is. Already the counseling goals would have given you a good understanding of what is being done in counseling. I will also tell you what counseling is not. You must also understand what counseling is not. I gave you one example. If I give advice, it is not counseling. I am only giving advice. And we are gifted. Indians are gifted in giving advice. If you travel by train or bus, by the way, let us say, if I travel by bus and if I have a headache, if I hold my forehead and then I show the sign that I have something, my headache, in that compartment, everyone will give me an advice. Sir, hold your fingers very tight. Sir, drink some water. Sir, I have Vicks or Amrutanjan. Apply it on your forehead or breathe deeply. Suppose there are 8 people in one small little compartment. I will get 8, not only 7 from other people. Also collectively they will give me one more advice. Okay. So if there are only 7 people other than me, I will get 8 advices. We are gifted in giving. If we recognize all the advice, and then if I value those advices, all of us must get a PhD in giving advice because we are well known as Indians, we give advice. But counseling is not equated with giving advice. But in counseling, sometime or other, I may give advice. I will say, if you continue to do this, you are going to suffer, you decide. That may be an advice. But counseling is not equated with giving advice. But sometime, at the appropriate time, I may give some advice. Counseling is not equated with giving information. Suppose I know about the AI. If somebody asks me in counseling session, sir, do you know about AI? I may have the information with me, but counseling session is not the occasion or the time to give information about AI unless he has a problem with the AI. Okay. So I may give information necessary. Only as much as it is necessary, I will give information. Otherwise, I will not give so much information in the counseling session. I have to be ethical in everything as a professional counselor. Certain methods will work very well, but I cannot use all those methods in counseling. Okay. So counseling is not to boost up my morale, not to show my knowledge, show off my knowledge. I have studied these subjects. I have heard about this particular talent. It is not to show off. I also have to be very prudent in sharing about myself. I have to. That may be effective. As a counselor, I should be open to share about myself when it is necessary, when it is appropriate, when it is useful. Otherwise, I'll be only talking about myself. There are people, I am in Trichy now. They come and ask me, sir, have you been to the Rockford Temple? Suppose I have been there. The counseling session, is not simply talking about my experience of going up there, but if it is necessary, if my self-sharing is going to help that particular person, then I might share enough. Otherwise, I may not share everything that I know or I have as an information or knowledge. Okay. So today we have talked about the basic understanding of counseling, the counseling goals, the counselor as a person, and counselor as a professional. Indirectly, we have talked about the counselor's values, and we will explore a little more values of the counselor to be effective and efficient later. Today, I don't know whether there will be time.
Father, shall we take up some questions?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Participants,
So I will
so
stop
this is your
here.
time.
If
Yeah.
you have any questions, raise your hand or send. I will be able to answer.
Either you can raise your hand or post your questions in the chat box. So it looks like everything is very, very clear. But for the
Pooja
above
Vats,
questions, like, yeah.
can you ask me?
This
Uh,
is
Shama Berlin.
Father.
Pooja Vats has raised her hand first. If you can
Okay,
ask
Father.
me quickly. Can you open the video and the audio?
kindly
Pooja,
unmute you. Kindly unmute your video, ma'am.
or Shama,
Father,
can you open the
Father,
video
good
and
evening,
ask me?
Father. Yes, Father.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead. Yeah,
I
yeah.
am. Good evening, Father.
Yes.
Father, can you please highlight any two important potential challenges for a beginner or budding counselor, Father?
Okay, say that again.
Father, any two potential and very important challenges for a beginner or a budding
Can
counselor?
you come closer to the mic or keep the mic closer? Yeah. Tell me.
Father, any potential challenges that a beginner or a budding counselor has to face? Very important.
Potential challenges as a
Budding
counselor?
of a
Your
budding
bandwidth is
counselor
very
beginner
low.
for a
Your network bandwidth. Can you
Potential
write down and
challenges.
send me?
Potential challenges for a beginning counselor. That's your questions. Any two potential challenges for a beginning counselor?
Anybody? Pooja, once can you ask me? If you can unmute. Or someone else ask me.
Good evening, Father. Hope I'm
Yeah.
audible. Okay, so you were talking about counseling goals. So, in the first one, achievement of mental health, you were telling about three things. One is distress, and the second one is functionality. I somewhere missed the third one. Can I know what it is?
Functionality, we have many roles.
Okay.
Like, for example, I am a lecturer, I am a counselor, I am director of the library, I am a brother to so and so, I am uncle to so and so. I have many roles. In all the roles, we have responsibilities and some freedom, also rights. I must be able to fulfill the responsibilities of all the roles somewhat effectively. A person cannot merely be a good husband and a very poor teacher. Okay? Both roles are important. So, if I am a good husband or if I am a good father, what about other roles, other responsibilities? Am I doing well? Do I excel in all the necessary qualities for that particular role? So, functionality, if I have some mental health issues, I may not be doing all the roles very well. Okay.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you. Any other? Somebody has asked one question: how to get counseling for college slow learning students? This will be regarding educational counseling. Okay, we understand what is required to be a good student. What is the potential of that particular student? There are many people who are slow learners. Why they are slow learners? Do they have low potential to study, to memorize, to write? Do they, not concentrate, or they are not able to remember after studying? Some people don't understand at all while studying. Some people don't remember because they don't keep the things in the long-term memory until the exams are over. Sometimes, they are distracted, or there are other reasons why they are not good students. So, if they are slow learners, counseling can help them understand their potential, their inner resources, maybe other helps they require to learn fast. Maybe a group study will be better. Maybe some tuition is good. Maybe they take down notes while studying. Maybe they improve their memory. Maybe they write down the points and then hold it in their pocket whenever they go out, they read one more time. And all these techniques, people can teach as counselors so that people can, grow from slow learners to fast learners. Somebody, Anto Richard, has asked, if the counseling is professional, do we need a license to practice counseling? Unfortunately, in our country, there are no, licensing agencies which are controlling all the counselors in our country. But in course of time, it will become, some agency will be there officially to recruit or to allow people to work professionally. But right now, people who have done MSc or MA or PhD, they start doing counseling as a practice. There is one government agency you have to fill in the form. If your program is approved by the government, you have to register. The office is in Chennai, and you have to register for starting your practice. Okay. There is another question by Tara, K. Tara. Is there any special therapeutic technique, particularly for controlling emotional behavior? When I talk about some of the therapies, I will mention. Okay. Any particular technique? There are various techniques. We will talk about them in course of time during this course. Is the field purely a Western concept? Does it have Indian ethos as its basics? The theories were developed by people who were Europeans or Caucasians. There was one person, from Africa, South Africa. He came up with the multimodal therapy, but he was a Caucasian. There were, people like Freud, Carl Jung, Adler. They were all Caucasians. Or people in the US, like Albert Ellis, Aaron Beck. There were many others, many people who developed theories in the US. They were all Caucasians. Later on, some people came up with cultural counseling. Those theories were developed by other than Caucasians. So, human being is the same everywhere. Whether you are in America, Australia, or Africa, or India, human being, human nature is the same. But we cannot apply the Caucasian theory or theory developed by Caucasians straight away to Indians. We have to adapt it to our culture, our surrounding, our environment. So, a good counselor must be a good multicultural counselor, understanding others' cultures, because I told you there are no two people who are alike. Even in your own family, not all people are the same. You may have one culture, your parents may have, your father may have another culture, your mother may have another culture. That is why we also develop issues. Okay. So we use certain Western concepts and we have to technically adapt to our Indian culture as well. Any important potential challenges for a budding counselor? There are many. Okay. I will go through it after some time. What are the important challenges that we have for a budding counselor? Okay. Today may not be the time. I have not touched upon that particular topic.
Okay,
Yeah.
Father. So
Yeah.
it was a wonderful day. Thank you very much for the beautiful presentation. Yeah, we enlightened all of us on the foundations of counseling, counselor as a person, counselor as a professional, and who can be the counselor and who cannot be the counselor. I think it was absorbing presentation for. Thank you very much. So participant, thank you. We will see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. and you can sign in from 5:45 p.m. onwards. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Shama. So how is your internship place?
Yes, sir. Nice,
Are
sir.
you
But there
inside
are
or outside? You're inside or
ins-
outside? Looks like you're in a party room.
inside our room, sir. This is our room. Bunk
Okay,
bed,
okay.
sir. Janice, come. Sir, here Jacqueline and Shanice are also here. We have a single room. We are sharing one single room, sir. Sir, and but we don't have inpatients in enhance. We have only outpatients.
Outpatients. Okay, okay.
So on February 1st and February, today we had nearly each day we had 12 patients, and today we had 12 patients. Since this is a government institution, the local people are coming, and the ward which we were attending was for the children, ID and autism, ADHD. So we
Very good.
observe.
Enjoy.
We are allowed only to observe, it seems.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah.
Thanks.
Hello. Hello.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Pooja, words. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Actually, sir, there was some problem, some network issue with my microphone. That's why I could not be able to open the microphone.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have actually, sir, but
Hello.
asked in
The
counseling.
network,
But sir, I pursue. Yes,
the
hello.
network signal may be very low.
Yes, sir. Am I audible? Now am I audible?
I get the message, Pooja. I get Pooja, but network bandwidth is low.
Okay, sir. And
That is
I'm
the
not
reason why
audible?
you are not able to connect.
Yes.
Yes.
Sir,
Go
now
ahead.
am
Go
I
ahead.
audible?
Yeah. Yeah. You're audible. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir, I want to know which course can I do if I want to pursue for the counseling. I am PhD from mathematics. But sir, I searched for the course. There was the eligibility for the particular counseling course is MA in psychology. But sir, is there any course which the person like me can pursue in counseling profession? Is there any course which is suitable for me?
You have your PhD already.
Yes, sir, in mathematics.
Okay. In mathematics. Yeah.
But sir,
There are
I'm
some
interested in
colleges.
counseling.
There are some in the colleges and the universities. They offer programs. The MSc level, MSc clinical counseling, MSc counseling psychology. For example, we offer MSc in counseling psychology, and there are some colleges and universities they offer MSc in clinical psychology, organizational psychology. So there are so many branches that you can choose. Like, yeah, since you already have a PhD, and may I know your age, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Actually, sir, my bachelor is from the sciences, and I am 38 years old.
Okay, yeah, not an issue. So you should be able to get an admission somewhere. Um, Keeping in mind you're already a well qualified person.
Yes, sir.
So there are possibilities you can explore. Like,
Actually, sir, I had searched many courses from the, I think, IGNU, Open University, and but the eligibility was only BSc in counseling. Or if you are from psychology, if your bachelor degree is from psychology, then only you can proceed for a master degree in psychology. So it was the issue. But I want to do some diploma type course in counseling psychology. So, sir, please, if you can suggest me any type of course.
yes, we will in the course of the time we will come out with some suggestions to you.
Yes,
Probably
sir.
you can send a mail in this regard to
Okay.
the email ID that we have given you. We will come out with
Okay,
some
sir.
possible solutions to you.
Okay, sir. Okay. I have,
Okay.
sir, I had studied psychology only in B.Ed. That's why I am interested. I am B.Ed and I have studied
Okay.
child psychology during my B.Ed course. That's why
You're
I am
from
interested in.
you're from which state, ma'am?
I'm from Haryana, sir.
Okay, very nice. Very nice. Yeah, we will help you, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Kindly send a mail in this regard,
Yes, sir.
and we will
Definitely,
look
sir.
into it.
Because it
We'll
is
come up with
not
some.
a question. Actually,
Yeah.
sir, it is not the question. It is my dream. So I will definitely send you a mail. Please help me
Sure.
regarding this.
Sure. We will.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So, Father, so we
Yes,
call it a day. Yeah, thank you very
Your
much.
voice is very low. If you can increase the
Who-
volume.
Who, my volume?
Yeah.
How is it now? Is it clear now?
Slightly
Am I
better.
audible? Slightly better, like, yeah, my was, now I have kept in the maximum value, like,
If we
the
can even,
maximum value.
if
Yeah.
we can even keep a earphone and a mic, it may be better.
Yeah. Tomorrow I will check it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Maybe for the
Was
from
it
tomorrow.
audible?
Yeah, audible. It was very audible. Yeah.
Okay.
In not an issue, everything was very clear. It was very audible. Like.
Hmm.
Yeah. Maybe tomorrow at 7 o'clock we open for questions, right?
Okay.
Yeah, questions. Yes. Yeah. 7 o'clock we open
Yeah,
for
many
questions.
are asking questions.
Looks like, yeah, they have a lot of questions. Like, yeah. Okay, first. So thank you very much. See you tomorrow. Yeah.
Thank you.
And someone asking for the PPT. Is it possible to share or how is it?
Yeah, I will still add more.
Sure. Yeah.
Then I will give.
Okay. Thank you
Okay.
very much. Thank you. Good night. Yeah.
Very
Very
good.
nice.
Thank you. Take care. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
Thank you, Father. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Good night. Yeah.
Okay.